That's what it is. Yeah, right. Oh, you poor thing. At least it's not focused. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, because the kind of you get sick for anything, everybody's so like, that's it.
Yeah, because the symptoms are so far from wash.
Sure, sure. That's so tough. That's hard.
Yeah.
My wife was that.
You know, like almost sit up on your feet.
Yeah, you do. It's true. Yeah. Oh, you poor thing. I know we were saying for the last week, but
Yeah, I can't believe it.
it's nuts.
Yeah, it's okay.
It really did. This evening, like, I think last year.
These are pretty awesome yourself, though.
So this is great, it's team and it's all taken back as a person and we really great. Having kids here, really, so much fun. Ah, it's so much fun. You know, that we can talk off to the side. I mean, it's just great. Hanging in the door. It's all the Linda, back from record. I'll just do a little talk at the beginning and then we go.
Sure, sure.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hi, how are you? Let's see, do I have my volume on? No, my volume is off, so I don't know what that is. But you think it was you. Hey, Claire, how are you? So this is good. So this is all one step closer to being back in person. Is this amazing? So today is officially the last day of working from the model via the live stream. And just think of all the stories you'll be able to tell people about this. Say, I was working during COVID, I worked live stream from a model. It's pretty cool stuff. I mean, no one's been able to tell those stories. So you'll be able to tell them. So Medusa, it turns out, is feeling a little better, but had bronchitis. So that makes sense. So there'll still be a little coughing, so don't worry when you hear that. So when we get the group on, I'll go over my presentation for today, and then I'll look at each of your works. And do stay on if you're interested to hear what was said by the others. Next week, I'll be sending you a schedule of a time that you'll have assigned to you for your final critique. And for that, you'll need to show the work you did in class. All right, so that can be posted. I'll make a section for discussions, or you can email it to me, or you can just even leave it on your computer, and then we can go to, you share the screen at that point. So there's lots of options, and all of them work at this point pretty seamlessly. All right?
You want us to basically not bring it, but everything moved down, or just?
Most of it, yeah. You definitely do a selection, because there'll be some things that are in the drawing category or beyond, or really sketchy. So definitely curated. But the majority of what will be are, of course, this long-term piece. It will be the majority of what we're looking at. And then the longer one before that, which was 3 weeks. And then there's a couple of others that would be good to kind of mix in. So I'm always thinking about 4 would be nice. Right? And if you want to do any additional work to finish this piece too, you have a week to do it beyond this. But this was meant to be done in class, and it was a synchronized class, so we did it that way. All right, so Tara and Grace, did you hear that? Are you there?
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, Grace, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. Hi, Tara. Okay.
There's nothing much to do.
Yes.
You need me scheduled for class, or should I leave?
Well, you could certainly leave, but I think it's always good to do something else. You could do a one-day piece. You could zero in on a part of it that you are interested in doing. I'm working on just one pose myself, and I'm just working on the surrounding when Medusa is not in on that pose. So you could just do a section of it. All right? Or you could even do it in drawing or whatever too, which might be kind of interesting.
I'm watching on there's this, so.
Well, you could do that. You could work on that, and just have that be, time worked on, and we can see where that goes. All right, that sounds good. All right, so we have a little bit of a critical mass here, so I'll do my presentation for today.
and then we can get started. It's not a long one today. It's just a few pieces. I know these get a little bit long, but I wanted to show you this. This is the theme that I've been kind of going with this idea of works derived from other works as an inspiration. And so I'm talking about Kerry James Marshall today, and this is one of his major pieces. He's called it Vignette. And he did a series of vignettes, but really he's taken it from this Watteau painting. Fragonard. They're similar always. Fragonard was really from the height of the French, artistic and cultural exploring that was happening at Louis XIV, and it was right before our revolution, which is kind of interesting. But the work had gotten very, kind of saccharine and salacious. And so what this is Progress of Love. You can see that there's the figurine of the Cupid, kind of this is a priest back here, and then this is the intended. And so this priest is pushing the intended into the other intended's arms, which is kind of an interesting salacious idea. And what Kerry did is he's a painter from Chicago, who has painted his entire life. He's also an educator. He does these massive paintings. This painting is, 80 inches. And so he's doing this courtship idea. And in case you didn't know, he's got the little designations of the hearts going up off to the side. But he's using the characters of the persons of color. And he's having, instead of a swing, he's having them lean against a fence, have it be like a backyard. And then here's your suitor that's there. And then he has a whole series of these. But I thought it was really an interesting interpretation coming from this, because Kerry talks about this, that this was his inspiration. So it's not a literal depiction, as in he doesn't have the swing. He doesn't have the suitor on the ground kind of waiting. He doesn't have the sculptures that are setting up in this very lush environment. But he did put the figures outside. He put it in the context that he thought was more appropriate for his story. And then he has the courtship. So I think it's kind of interesting to kind of set it up that way as it goes. Also putting in a grisaille ends up making it be a bit more like a memory versus what's there. This is another vignette, and it's another one about courtship. And you can see here you've got this this cord of the dog, the leash, and then he's got the guy that's kind of playing with the dog, wrapping around, and this woman's looking back. And of course you got the birds. And then you've got the X symbol, and then you go the flora and fauna, and all these symbols, as well as the decorative Kerry James Marshall signature down there. So this gets into this idea of color, pattern, texture, and then this deep symbolism that sets up this kind of idea, like you're going on this thread of courtship, and you're thinking about different aspects of it. And then you start to work with symbols and references around it, like the birds, the tree, and then this pink, which is now becoming then the balance for the hearts, and then the florals around it. Then it becomes like this narrative built upon. Another artist from that same category is Aaron Douglas, another person of color. And this one's really interesting in keeping with the theme of the silhouettes. These figures are, you see, building more stately mansions. So it's saying about the people that actually build the structures that we all inhabit and work with, the unnamed sources, down to just the, people breaking rock, to working a saw. Here's a trident kind of symbol, but it's still this idea that, the workers, the people behind it, and then the symbols, which are these great historical references that we all have with the arches and the pyramid kind of things, and then the modern buildings. So it became, again, this storyline, and Aaron was very early on this. You see the date, 1944, so it's far, far before someone like Kerry James Marshall. but yet the work comes in there. And so this idea that you can use figure for this context coming out of a strong narrative is really what I'm kind of impressing upon you, that you learn these ideas about the figure and how you're going to cultivate the form and talk about color and how you get the balance and gesture. Something like this with this gestural component, with this idea of activity, this holding of the staff, all these things are really specific to what the human form can do, but it's also become symbolic. Okay, so that's it for today. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go around the room, and I'll start with you, Andy, you're up on my upper left, and we'll just look at your progress right now, and then strategize what's going to happen for today. Like, okay, you've got this 3-hour block, and you've got the pose coming to different points. What are you going to do to make this piece resolve and start to work? Okay, so and go ahead and show me. With more yellow, yeah.
Probably do that first.
Yes.
Once I get it to dry enough that I can make it over again for next week.
I don't think, what are you going to use for drying glaze medium? That will not even be close to drying. And do you think, have you glazed with Instago before?
Yeah.
Okay, because the only thing that can happen, especially on a painting that's been painted on a number of times, is that the Instago won't always absorb. It'll actually start to bead up, and it looks real panicky. But if you just keep working it in, hey Medusa, we're ready. What do you got? So just keep working it in. But if you're really serious about glazing, I would recommend you get a Galkid. Because that's an alkyd version of an oil. It's polymerized oil, so it's got flexibility, and that would dry today. And that's another just huge advantage of it. So what's the term though? Yeah, because you already have a lot of yellow, but I think it would help balance out that blue, which is not really in character with it. It's interesting that I showed that Aaron Thompson work, because it's not unlike what you're doing with your two figures. Really interesting. Wow. Yeah, totally. And so I think that you could feel very reinforced by that and say that, hey, look, there's a precedent here. And that, that those work better because I don't want to have that conflict with the main figure. I want to have this kind of bridging between them, which does happen. So let's talk about another thing. I think the couch in the model, which of course you work on today more, is really at a good state, but it does need to go further. So the best thing about it is the light that's coming across it, which is supported by the shadow. But here's the problem with that shadow, is that it needs to vary more and come from behind and beside that couch, not just from the front. That would be a very odd light if it kept contained in there, because some of them, in other words, would spill over. I think it's sometimes like a box that just kind of spills over and everything doesn't really stay in it. And so this whole area around the side of it would get a little darker, and then it could be a little bit more focused. Yeah. And where it's going to be darkest is toward your object. As it goes further away, it gets much more light and everything in there. So as far as resolving the figure, what do you think, considering that so much of it is dreamlike and suggestive, how far do you really think you have to go with it? Yeah. I think it's good too. No, you do not. You want to keep it more blocking suggestion. Because once you render that more, then there's an expectation for the drapery to be more rendered. And then the couch itself and how that sits, and even what's going on with the floor. So a lot of what you're kind of impressing upon the viewer is suggestion. So, yeah, I would definitely say that from that arm up has to be pretty dealt with today. I think even, yeah. Because I think around the pelvic area, it's pretty well. I mean, you've got that. You could work on that secondary ripple around the navel. You could come up around that gluteus and come in a little bit wider with that quadricep because it's a little, like a little sort of banana shape now. But all that can be kind of dealt with as it goes. So yeah, start with that yellow and see where you go with it.
The other thing I was thinking was, if I should put some of this orange light on the couch, like on the grate maybe, or if I should leave it only the figure with the top.
Yeah, see, theoretically, it would be this idea that you move the light and color around, so it becomes part of something. But since you're inventing things and you're trying to keep a real difference between what's reality and what's memory, I'd be hesitant to do that because then it would start to all look like it's part of the same scene. Right now, it looks very different. And I would be encouraging you to keep it that way. That it should be, different and see where it goes. And it doesn't mean you can't add in a few warms to those lights in particular. But I wouldn't put it in too liberally. I'd just mix in a little green, and if you put a little orange in there as it gets up towards that light, that might help, but just not too much. All right?
Yeah, once I do the yellow too.
I think so. It'll kind of spill over the head a little bit. Just keep thinking about, or even like a bucket. Like how hard is it to contain a bucket? Oh, bucket. So it's like, you've got your bucket moving around. So here's the other good news. The weather on Wednesday, 88 and partly cloudy. 88. I know, so awesome, right? So that's good. I think we're gonna go back to the cemetery. We'll just do that. That'll be nice. That'll be great to spend the whole day there. It's too much. Jimmy won't let me add more people to the van, and it's too far to go down to that wherever, if you wanted to. Maybe we'll do that the final day. I don't know. Do a trip for half the day and meet down there. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, plan on the cemetery travel. Cemetery. Okay. All right, I'll talk to you again soon. All right, Claire. All right, Claire. So you got a lot done on this. This really is coming along, hasn't it?
I really want to, this is what I want to put in, just like very.
Yeah, because it's just blocked in, that's right. Yeah, because really, I was looking at it, I think the most finished part is Medusa sitting with the red shirt.
Yeah.
But I would also encourage you to work a little more on the face and the hands of the one lying down. And then get some of those drapery swags that go in those big semicircular motion, particularly from where the hand is right now. Medusa's kind of almost holding on to that.
Yeah, on the couch.
Yeah, I think that would make a difference, and then kind of carry it. And then the other thing too is I think you could explore some of your cast shadows a little bit more, and that's kind of the idea of some of those swags, but it would also be coming from the main figure when you're just sitting on the chair. Would come from that area of the model on the couch, and so I always think that you don't have to resolve every part of it. It's kind of what you do to the areas of resolve. But definitely that area that's just sort of the underpinning needed, and just a little bit of that lamp blocking that's in the further. All right, so there's your energies. I think you are great. Looks good. All right, great. Excellent. All right. Let's see. Tara, let's see what you're up to with this. I want to look at that one. Tara, are you there? There you go. So let me see it, the one you've been working on. Yeah, that looks good. That looks really nice. Yeah, so I think think about the face when they're done like that. It's a wonderful photo face, but it's hard to paint it, isn't it? And so to paint it, you've got to have to relax the mouth a little bit. You know, make it so that the mouth isn't held in that real smiley. Like just relax the corners of it a little bit, play up the upper lip and let that lower lip kind of come into it. And then the creases that come around from the upper face can also be relaxed. So still be there, but relax so you get some of the jaw and some of the cheek in there. Eyes, nose, everything. You're going to tell everything from that. Because like we're looking now, we can see a smile by not even seeing the face. Hands are good. The arms looks nice. I love the arms and the chest. Hair's looking nice. I'm wondering about using that same color in that background as you've gotten a lot of the foreground. Maybe that can adjust a little bit. Like there's a little bit of a greeny blue it looks like.
Yeah, I have a picture.
Sure.
It's colored.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
very difficult to do that.
Yeah, but you see how it's a little browner on the top? So maybe that would work a little better, and then the color could be a little bit more fun. And actually, you know, the smile that your cousin has in that photo could be followed a little better. It's pretty much what I just said, relaxing the edge of the mouth, relaxing the structure around those, you know, it's part of that whole Bicularis oris area, and that can be relaxed, so those furrows stand, and then they'll like it better too. I don't want big furrows. That's where everybody always is with portraits. Yeah, you capture me, but can you lessen those lines a little? You know, it's like that's the way everybody is with portraits. But I think that's really nice. Is this something she knows about? Does she know about it?
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. Well, that'd be good.
I had my test for COVID-19. It's negative somewhere.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That must be a relief.
I'm getting COVID-19 shot, which is next week on Friday.
Wow, congratulations. That's good. Do you know which one you're gonna get? Do you know which one? Is it the Pfizer or Moderna? You don't know? All right, good. Well, good luck, and I hope your reaction is very mild. So the first one's really an easy one. That's the second one's the tough. But you'll be well on your way. Tomorrow I'll be fully immune, so that's a relief to kind of think about that. Although it's weird to think about it this time because it's been so long. It's really strange. But I'm glad to hear that. And congratulations. All right, we'll check in with you soon. All right, Callie, what are you up to? Miss Callie, how are you? How's Henry doing? Henry, how you doing, Henry? You doing okay? I heard about your kidney. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Well, Brian did a bang-up job hanging that show, so it really looks good. Oh my God, it looks great, Henry. It really does. That guy, he's the best at Brian, isn't he? He just steps right in. No questions asked. It's just like, I'm going to go in and do it, and that's it, you know? It's great. I know. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, Henry. We were all worried about you. Good. Yeah. We think about poor Henry. So, Tali, what are you up to? What are you doing? You're done with your painting that you were doing, the outdoor thing. So what are you doing now?
Yeah, well, I think I'm that one I started the other week, but I don't know why not. I think today, I think I'm going to do some poetry.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I was here.
Oh, good. So then you could kind of do the mirror in the situation and have the self-portrait in it?
Yeah,
Good.
I'm sorry, I wasn't at the phone. I was
That's good. You're rummaging around for an object.
yeah.
That's good. I think that's fine, Tyler. I think I think what you've been able to achieve this semester, which is pretty powerful, is that you've created space. You've got these complexities now between your intersecties of things. It's not just jumping from thing to thing and your eye kind of melds all together. You're actually atmospherically moving us around. And you're also getting a sensitivity of your mark that you didn't have before. So the more you can capitalize on that, I think some of it's gonna have to be your surfaces you're working on, and then your brushes. And then it's gotta be that alchemy between the paint, the thinness of it, how it's absorbing in, and how it works, because you kind of are used to working on whatever's laying around. But if you cultivate that a little bit more, you'll be able to get effects that you might desire more than just having something thrust upon you. You know what I mean by that? So, what do you have to work on for today? Yes. The reflection.
It just looks bright, but it's like, but it's beautiful purple, but it's just a floor.
Oh, that's really cool. The best thing about that floor is you can actually see it, Tyler. I think that looks pretty good. Things are looking up.
Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna set up.
Oh, it sounds good. All right, now it's okay. All right, sounds good. Okay. All right, let's see. What's this here? Vanessa. Vanessa was one of the last on today. That's amazing for Vanessa. You must have had a lunch date or something. Oh my God! Yeah, with the body. I could read your lips too.
Yeah. So I'm always gonna be a facial, so.
Oh, I see. Well, that's good. Can I come over later and see if you want? Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, this is looking nice. Don't you think? I love it without the chairs. You gotta just lose those chairs. Yeah. Sure. You're really almost done. I think really if you just work on the side of the face and a little bit more of that armpit area. So here's what you got to do, Vanessa. If you look at that area underneath the arm, there's several things. So look at me for a second. So you got this area here coming to the pectoralis. Then you got this area which is the scapula. And then this part in here, which is called our armpit, is really the head of the humerus, which is bulging out a little bit, which then gets a hollow that goes up to the bicep. But here's the important part, which you missed out. You didn't put the round of that deltoid in. That deltoid's right here, and because you lift your arm like this, you see how that bunches? Relax, bunches, right. And that's where you miss, because think about a muscle. What's the job of the muscle? Yeah, it moves the bone, right? And so if your arm is moving, i.e. the bone of the arm, that means those muscles are at their most exaggerated state in order to get that to move. So that's what you're missing from that. And the only reason why we're really needing that there is it's about the most pivotal point on that view. Because you've got that whole front which is kind of taken up with a bathing suit. You fixed the leg, that looks good. And so that's the only thing missing. And it just looks a little bit weird because it's so thin there. And that's what just doesn't make any sense. And so you can definitely look at it when this is up there. You can also look at it in the mirror. Because you'll see right away, when you go up like that, and this, or feel on yourself, feel it. It just gets really round, doesn't it? Yeah. That's exactly right. And so since that arm is set in that socket like that, it pushes up like this, and therefore anything in here gets pushed away. Because that's what happens with bones. Bones are being moved, and where can they go? It doesn't mean everything jumps out of the way. It's not like when you go into the kitchen and everybody runs away because you've got to get in there. it just means that it's holding its ground, but then it pushes against it. So that's kind of the fun thing about it, is that particularly at our arms, which are so flexible because you've got that very shallow socket, unlike the leg, which is sitting in that really deep axle kind of socket, we have all this mobility because it's just sitting, it's kind of floating. So that's why you're able to put your arm like that, and you can do it because it's literally pulling it out of that, swinging it all the way up like that. Isn't that weird though? That's what's kind of fun about art though, to be honest with you, is that we're thinking like a scientist now, analyzing that, right? And so we can know the same thing they know. But yet we have a different purpose of it. It's not to increase mobility or to worry about pain that's there or look at inflammation. We can think about, okay, what is it that's causing this kind of thing to go about and happen? And that's how you make something a little bit more plausible. And so when you went through your painting, you analyzed all the different parts. We were finding out that, well, you didn't have enough for a beach. So you went down to the beach and you did it from there and you figured it out. Then you saw the difference between that. What does that water really do? You went down there and you watched it, and then you took documentation, you did a study. And all those things start to bear fruit because of, that kind of idea of understanding it and then recreating it. And that's the fun part of it. So, and that's why it seems really successful. It's really working. So work on that, work a little on the side of the face, look for those different planes. The figure that's lying down, you still have a little bit of an uncomfortable junction between the face and the belly. So I would probably describe the side of that face a little bit more, just so you can see it. Or if that doesn't work, maybe push the face beyond the belly so it doesn't just look like it's partially there. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. You probably just gonna move it. Yeah, you're probably better off moving it. Yeah, because it just doesn't have it quite enough. And then with the lower leg that's inserted into the lower part of the body, that part of the belly would overlap that leg a little bit more, because gravity would push that over. And so if that's happening, then there's a little bit more around this. Again, it's science, so that's what's kind of cool. And so you're getting this knowledge now that you can literally recreate it. And what I do sometimes is if I can't figure it out, I'll do a little sketch of it so I can figure it out and try to say, oh, wait a minute, what does it do? I don't know, that's not work. For some reason it didn't work. And what do I have to do to change that? And I think about where it attaches, I think where things overlap, I think about the main bony groups, which are the pelvis, the rib cage, and the head. And I think, okay, based on where they're positioned, what are these different extremities doing? So this is a lot more intense than a facial, I know. I can hear it, I know. But it's all part of the magic of things. So go into that and let's see where you end up in a little bit. We'll check in again. Okay, Kate.
Hi.
Hi, Kate. How are you doing, Kate?
I'm good.
I'm doing pretty well today. It's so nice to be here, and I'm so looking forward to everybody being back. I was just telling Medusa that it's just such a thrill to think about these rooms will soon be full and bristling again. It's so nice. So, Kate, this is looking really sharp. It really is. It really looks good. I'm thinking, what do you need to do to resolve? You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking hands, faces, and feet. That's what I'm thinking. And so here's the thing about hands. You don't want to draw each one of the digits. You really want to think about the unevenness between. So if you see I look at my fingers now, you think about just getting that space bigger, linking these together, and that way you'll have a little bit more of an idea of a gesture, if you will, and a suggestion, and it won't look applied. With the face, remember that the eyes are at the halfway point between here and the bottom of the chin. Get the orbitals in the eyes. And then you'll be able to build the forehead, which is your first third. And then the rest will be within the mask. So that could, but it's really important about those eye sockets and eyes a bit. And then let's put a little bit of shadow, because you have some ochre on the drapery, but let's do some shadow there that's reflective of the figure that's on there. And maybe make some of those curved areas of the fabric. Does that make sense? Yeah. But first and foremost, unevenness in the fingers, get those orbitals in, and start to think about building that head around it, okay? And you're almost there. You're really close. You're like, it's that bar that's coming in. The timing bar. Color's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love it. It's carrying the day, isn't it? Who doesn't like color? Why don't people use color? Right? Color's good. Except when we dress, we just have to wear black all the time because that's the only thing you can wear. That's the melodic. That's it, black. And then a red band. All right, Kate, so keep working on that. I'll check in with you in a bit. All right. All right, Grace. What is Grace up to? You working on a big stella still?
Hey, no.
Oh, wait, you were doing the sync, but you posted it afterwards. That turned out great, Grace. It really looked good. I love the way that you developed that real optical top view looking down, and you really felt that space around it. Looked good.
Thanks, it was fun.
So where are you today? What are you working on?
That idea. And so I was making some sketches for it, and so let me see.
You've had quite a year, Grace, let me tell you. For quite a year. You've had quite a year, haven't you? Kind of came into your own. Don't you think? That's looking cool.
They were all the same idea.
Yeah. So it's really kind of coming off on that, those interiors you're working on last semester. Yeah, I like that. I like that with the one you down below there with the sink and the toilet. That's pretty powerful. And those intersecties between it.
These?
Yeah, is that just a visual cue coming out of your design that you did above it, or is that something like a piece of the rug or part of the wall, or what's going on?
Wait, for this?
Mm-hmm.
This, I just look out like perspective lines.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that those kind of trails that I was talking about, what are they representing? What are they derived from? Are they part of the wall?
These,
Yeah.
on that is just shaping the kind of space I want.
No, I get that, but I was just saying, oh, I see, this is the overlap of the two of them. I was trying to figure out what that shape was between the two of them. Yeah, I knew you're making the perspective shape, I knew that. But yeah, you melding the two of them together, that makes sense, I get it. I see.
I just wanted them together because, like when you're unfolding like a 3D space, it has like the walls and kind of
Right.
So that's why.
Yeah, and so that becomes the bridge between it. I get it. Right.
But like I could put these points anywhere.
Sure. That's right. As in, where is our viewpoint? That's right. Yep. Yeah. Very cool. So it's kind of analytical. So what do you think its size was for?
I
Oh, great, wow.
From
Huge.
it up there.
Yeah.
It's like to go for coffee.
Sure, that's great.
I haven't like set out on a page yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, I spelled stuff. I was like,
There's no way. Well, at least you're on
I
trial.
don't mind. I was just, yeah.
But you have to get it out of that garage fast because it sticks with me. It's fun. That's good. Yeah, I like that. Well, so yeah, it's kind of fun that you've got this limited spaces, but there's a lot of things going on in there that you can work with.
Yeah, like the bottles.
I know. Scrunchies and the blue little mat. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's it's Parisi's world. All right, so just see how that progresses. Sounds good. All right, so Anna, I'll just come around the corner. You're right up here, right?
Wait, what?
You're right here. I'll just come around the corner.
Oh, you're up here?
Yeah, I'm right around the corner.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I got to everybody. I saw you run, so I got to. So I'll come over right now. All right. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay. All right. So I'm going around the corner to see, and then I'll be back.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Somebody's actually in the studio, so.
Oh, great sign. Things are getting back to normal. That's awesome.
Hard to believe somebody's in the studio. No, in another 2 years we'll forget to see them happen. That's the other version. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll forget. We might laugh at a lot of it.
I think we'll laugh. And I'll totally forget how to do live streaming. And I'll have to do it or something, and I'll think, I don't know how to set it. And I'll think, I can't wait for a whole year on setting live streaming.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Stage 3 and all as well. 2:30. That's the one good thing about having something like bronchitis is that the antibiotics actually work.
Yeah, I have noticed a difference. Definitely.
You know, versus a common cold, which is just nothing you can do. You suffer.
Yeah, you have to tough it through. Well, chicken soup always helps.
What was
Chicken soup always seems to help.
it? Yeah, that's true. Thinking nothing's gonna get better. Well, I've got to go down to San Antonio on the 9th.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's. So you have your COVID passport?
Yeah, I got that. And yeah, it looks like the hotel I usually stay in is still open, so I was wondering about that. So should be weird though. I haven't been anywhere for a year and a half.
Yeah. It's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. So you're staying, you said you're staying in a hotel?
Yeah, that'll be kind of the safest thing because you know it'll be clean. It's gonna be quiet. Oof.
Yeah, I hope it's not crowded when you decide to.
No, I won't be quiet.
And that you don't have a middle seat.
Yeah, I know. Yes, a little bit harrowing because it's a 3-hour flight,
Okay.
so it's not that long, but it's long enough that you can't just completely stay still in your seat.
Hopefully the rest of the passengers behave themselves.
Yeah,
But that'd be cool, you get to see what the airports are like.
I know. They said the TSA's been busier.
Time marches on.
Before we know it, it'll be summer.
Well, that's going to be a big jolt in the summer because we're going from 70s here to 90s there.
90s.
Yeah, it's hot. Southern Texas.
That's when I saw Texas on the news and it got to
Was what?
it was snow nice.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That was wild.
Yeah, that was San Antonio really nailed. They had that price gouging for the electric.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Their pipes were freezing. It's hard if you have to be out.
Yeah.
You can't cook.
Well, not unless you had some kind of like camping kind of deal.
Yeah, we can't do that in the hotel.
Oh, I thought you meant with the folks in the snow.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, you can't really sit in a hotel.
No.
Well, I hope it's not really good food nearby.
No, it could end up being kind of weird.
Hotel food usually is not for dessert.
No. It's expensive.
And I've never really had really good hotel
This place has a pretty good restaurant, actually. It's a seafood restaurant.
food. Huh.
They have this salad they make that has seafood in it and honey and stuff.
Ooh, that sounds tasty.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, it sounds like you have something to look forward to as far as food.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. We'll see.
Are you going to be driving now?
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to drive in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's the further south you go.
Everything's highways. They have those big ramps that go into the sky.
Oh.
It's huge. Huge. You have to have your GPS whirling away.
I guess so, because the traffic's probably going pretty fast.
They're going fast. They have big cars.
They don't want to hear that you're not from in town, you're out of town.
I know. Yeah, they don't like East Coast people very much.
Oh boy. Okay, I shall return. I'm gonna go run to the restroom.
Okay. Okay, let's see what everybody's up to. All right, Anna, let's see, how's it going with you? You get that glaze on there? Miss Anna? So I'm gonna put the glaze on and ran out of the room, I guess. All right, let's go with Claire. Oh. Guess I have to have my voice on. I didn't have my voice on. So let me try this again. Anna.
Yeah, that's
Sorry about that, I had my voice off, I was thinking, geez, did everybody leave? That was funny. How's that yellow? Ooh, nice. Boy, that worked out great. What a difference, that's huge. Now, did you have any areas that didn't bother?
Well, I started kind of expect different colors and going like warm with the foreground areas and yellow in the background.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, and you went over a couple parts with some of the color, good. Yeah, technically you're not supposed to do that, but since the oil is wet, it's fine. It'll be okay. But be mindful if it drizzles or not, because sometimes it will stop binding and it will drizzle on the other, it looks like rain falling on it. So you go back into that. And I like your shadow change coming from the couch, it reads much better. Great, so now just do more on that figure and you'll be ready to go. Perfect. Good. All right. All right, Claire. Claire time. All right. We will go on to Tara. Hi, Tara. Oh, that is so much better. Doesn't that read now? That looks great. Really nicely done, Tara. That has a smile still, but it just didn't go, it's just not as much. Really nice. Really, really nice. And you have that subtle bit of teeth there. So now there's the last thing, that area that's right against the upper musculature and the lip itself, just soften that a little bit. Like put in another color that's mixture of the both of them, and they'll just soften it so it transitions somewhat. All right, and then you'll be all set. That'll be perfect. Good, and then just do a little bit of the background and you're ready to go. Good. All right, Vanessa, patiently waiting. Nice. Now I see that arm. I saw it right away. Excellent. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that looks great. Yeah, so now you're really feeling the deltoid. You've got that separation with that bicep coming up, and you've held out that pectoral area. So good job. Very nice. All right. So great. So now with the face, just watch that taper that's going from the nose to the chin. So I think part of the problem is that you haven't seen the nose and chin of everybody in so long, you forgot. So because of the teeth, that area from the upper lip to the lower juts out a little bit. And so that'll have a little bit of a V. Then it indents at the chin and then comes down the chin, and the chin should line up with the nose inset of the nostril, and then the jaw goes back, and the jaw goes all the way back to that ear. So that juncture of the back of the jaw, the ear canal, and the zygomatic arch all comes in and meets together. And then the edge of the mouth lines up with the pupil, and so your pupils have to inset a little bit more, and then the mouth will inset. But those two things line up exactly. All right, that'll be in good shape. And then I like the neck better, or I don't know if you did much to them, the figure down there. Yeah, but yeah, so I'm looking at it now, I can see if I can get close up. So I think it's really the chin for sure, but it's also that bit of the neck. And so if you soften that and made it a little bit more of a cylinder, that would work. Sometimes it's better just to simplify it. Simplify. All right, good job. All right, let's see, Pete. Hey, Pete. How's it going? I'm fogging up my glasses here. Gosh, gotta put this mask on so much. Yeah, the space is good. It's looking great, so I can see it. So, this is gonna be the lying down pose again, so you kneel back into that, bring up that forehead a little bit, get the instead of the eyes, and then get the crest of the mask as it goes right over that part of the nose bridge. So it comes through. And then pull out some of the hands, because the hands coming down and look at that unevenness of it. So, you have like a space there or there as it builds in. You kind of glue around it. And then that arm is tucked underneath like this. Bring up that part of the elbow, and then the part of the upper arm that comes in. So if you emphasize that joint right there, that'll turn it nice. All right, that's what it is. So right. Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, it's so weird to think about traveling again.
Yeah, you'll get to see all the adjustments they've made to everything, including the space.
Mm-hmm. The gaps in there and everything. Spaces in the chairs.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they have stickers on the chairs.
I would.
You
Yes,
know,
you're
it's-
right.
you can't sit here, but you can sit there.
Right.
You'll get to see whether people are adhering to those
This
rules.
is Texas. Texas, they do their own thing. Now, there's wealthy people I'm working for, they've been traveling anyway because they just get a private jet.
Oh, okay, got you. That must be nice.
Yeah. Different worlds. Different worlds.
saw on the news that Disney World and Disneyland are being opened.
Oh, how about that? There you go. That's gonna be hard though, because everybody waits in line for everything. Just all the limited number of people in there.
Yeah, probably right now is the best time to go.
Yeah.
But maybe not since they announced it on the news.
No. Probably bad idea. Can you see Scott in Disney World?
No.
That'd be
No.
funny, wouldn't
No. Not at all.
it? You'd be a sketch pad. You'd make you model on one of the rides.
When do you go to Maine? Do you go to Maine?
In July.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
It comes up really fast, actually. Because by the time I'm done fooling around with Texas, and then I have some other sculptural work to do here in early June.
Oh, okay.
And then it kind of goes into a little bit of late July. And then July hits, and I'm up there.
What's the weather usually like in Maine in July?
It's like this.
Oh,
Like,
that sounds comfortable.
it's very comfortable. Light jacket weather. But the last few years, to be honest with you, it's been pretty hot. So many people complain about it. So, like last year, it was in the 80s and low 90s during the day. At night, it cooled down more. But I mean, better than here, but still not what you'd expect. Before I talk more here, I used to go in late July and then August. And in late August, man, it would get really cold. Like 50s at night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
50s?
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. Because you're far north. Almost in Canada.
Sounds like a good break from Philly heat.
Well, that was
humidity.
the thing, yeah. That's how we started going up there. And God, it's just so hot and humid here.
Can you get good seafood from?
Yeah, you get lobsters that are caught that day,
Whoa.
and crab and all kinds of shellfish, like a lot of mussels and clams.
Do they do scallops?
They do. Yeah, there's more restaurant and stuff, but yeah, so you just go to the grocery store and they have just amazing varieties. And you know, and the salmon steaks and everything are really plentiful and big. And they're cheap because they're competing with lobster. So, but you can get a lobster for $6.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get like 3-pound lobsters. They're not that much. The tourists, of course, they pay for premium, like $24, just like you would here for just a pound and a quarter. That's just laughable. You go to the, they're easy to cook. They're 14 minutes boiled.
Oh, okay. That's not long at all.
Yeah. So you set the time. You don't want to overcook them.
Have you ever tried the fake fish?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
did you think?
yeah, it's good. It's good. But they've also started having these barbecue places up there too.
Barbecue what?
Barbecue,
Oh, huh.
like they'll have beef and pork and chicken barbecue. Those are good. Of course, meat eaters. And,
Yeah, it has to be the right texture
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the right flavor.
Yeah. Well, they do the dry rub and then cook it all day. So it just falls very hard. They have this place called Mainly Meat.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're sick of your lobster,
When we're sick of the lobster.
yeah. I know, can you imagine?
It sounds so opulent though.
I know. No, no more lobster. No. Not for us.
So I take it that the air quality is a little bit better.
It's much better. It's much better. But you have noises of the country.
Oh,
They drive trucks around and
oh,
big
okay.
equipment early in the morning.
Huh.
And, the boats are out early in the morning with big diesel engines. Those are loud. So it's different. You're in their habitat. You can't complain.
Right. Do you ever go fishing on your
No.
own fishing trips?
No.
Okay.
No, but we get a boat usually and canoe around. I'm a big canoeer. Everybody's on those kayaks. I don't really like kayaks.
Oh, okay.
So I drive through the bay. Then hike.
Hiking?
Yeah, there's a lot of mountain hikes.
That sounds perfect for your landscape page.
Yeah,
For
it's nice.
nature.
Pretty nice. It's just really peaceful.
No motorcycles ripping down Broad Street.
Oh, they have vehicles. They're loud.
Okay.
Most of the time they're pickup trucks. And
Is there a lot of construction?
it can be, yeah, because it's their time to, construct things. So it can be. You just never know. But they'll have, working hours. So they'll start early in the morning and end about 3. So yeah, you just have to be ready for that. That could happen. Yeah, if they're going to do any kind of construction project, they really only have a couple months to do it.
Oh yeah, while it's nice out.
Yeah.
How close are you to the beach area?
It's on our property, so just walk to it.
Oh. Huh.
So that's nice. There's a big field. It's 17 acres. So you walk through that, and at the end of the field, there's kind of a green space, and then if you walk down through the green space, there's the tidal beach. And so high tide, maybe you have like a little sliver, but at low tide, you'll have 9 feet of it. No more, it's 9 foot tide, it's, you'll have like 25 feet. It's pretty amazing. And there's all kinds of places nearby. The best thing about it is it's just a different pace.
Right.
You know, people are just, nobody locks their doors or judges anybody. Everybody's welcome, everybody's there, just can hang out. And
It doesn't sound as tense as the city.
it's just, there's no tense about it, just like it doesn't even exist, you know? The only tense that comes is from people visiting, they bring it with them, you know? What people fiercely guard up there is their beach access.
Okay.
So, you know, you can get to anybody's beach by the water. You cannot go through the property to get it. So
Okay.
that becomes a real bone of contention. Even if you know the people, they're really tense about it. That takes some getting used to.
Is there like a public access beach where you have to have a beach tag or anything?
No. And
Oh.
there is public access though in 2 locations. One, if you don't know where it is, you'll never find it. Not in a
Okay.
million years, but it's public access. And the other one is right by the town hall and everything. So that's more visible and known. Oh, actually, there's another one too. It's in the next village over. It's in this cove. And that all the locals go to on a nice day.
How long have you been going up there for?
This location, 14 years.
14 years?
Mhm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, before that, for 3 years, we went to Mid-Coast, Maine. And that was nice, but that was getting to be a bit crowded. Crowded. People from Boston would be able to do weekend trips there as well. So this place is unique because of the acreage and the fact that it's got this. It's a beach that you share just with 2 other families, so it becomes it's
Oh,
pretty
that's
crowded.
nice.
Yeah. So everybody kind of has their own little space. The Von Beavers from Washington.
Oh, cool.
We don't get along very well with them.
Do you all ever have joint dinners?
We do with friends that stay up there in the house next to us, so rent, but they've moved from, they're the ones that got me to go down to San Antonio. And they've moved now to Minneapolis. And I don't know, I've got to contact them to see if they're going to go this year. Didn't go last year. So, but if that's the case, yeah, we get together with them and dinners and boating and stuff, which is kind of fun. But yeah, it's they had moved during COVID. It was terrible. It was rough.
So did you go last year?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Just for 2 weeks though. We didn't go for long. It was, we just found out that we could go. And it turns out that even though there was restrictions on travel, going up that direction, they weren't that tough about it.
Okay.
And they had a quarantine that you'd have to get a test beforehand, and if you didn't get the results, you have to quarantine until you got them when you got there. But we only had to quarantine for a couple of days. They ended up coming pretty soon to our. And they weren't that. They didn't check you at the door and ask for verification. So we went to the grocery store anyway and just were careful. But we didn't go anywhere until we got a notification that we were free. But yeah, it's nice. But the year before, we'd done that and gone to London, so.
London?
Yeah, we went to London the year before,
How long did you stay for?
10 days. So we went to London and then Cambridge and Colchester, where the artist John Constable lived in Cambridge. So we rented a car, drove on the wrong side of the road. That's pretty cool.
Did you eat good food while you were there?
It used to be that when you went to England, the food was terrible. Not anymore. Wow, it was European level. Felt like I was in Paris. It was really good. Those English breakfasts, those are really nice.
What was your favorite thing that you ate there?
They had this. It was in this small town. It was outside of Oxford, named something Wood. But anyway, they had this chicken pot pie that was handmade, and it was a cold. If we were there in the summer, it was still cold there, and it was a cold evening. And all the flavors had melded together, and it was at a really flaky, tasty crust. And yeah, that was my favorite thing. Other than breakfast, crazy.
Breakfast?
Yeah, because you get the English sausages and eggs and bacon that's really thick and fried tomatoes and
Fried tomatoes?
and mushrooms and all kinds of breads. I mean, just a real feast. Kippers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, really.
What a variety.
Yeah, just amazing. The English are funny people too, because they have such formality to their speech and kind of behavior. So even if they really don't like you or they're in a bad mood, you never know it because they just, it's nice anyway. So there's something kind of nice about that.
It doesn't sound like the overall American way at all.
No, they always worry with Americans what they're going to say and how they're going to act.
Well, I heard now you can travel to Europe as well.
They did say that today, didn't they?
Since you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah, right, we got our passports. Yeah, as of tomorrow, we're totally clear.
Wow.
Weird thought. All right, so what do we have? We have,
It's now 3:05, so I believe.
so we have one and a little piece.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, one and a piece.
One and a piece.
I got a series of meetings starting right before, right after us.
Yeah.
They go from 4 to 8.
Oh, my.
I know, so I gotta go get soda, so
Get some caffeine or
I
something.
4 to 8. She's like, we're 10 minutes into the whoa. All right, compost, soda.
You're ready, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? I'm like 5 years forward. Ridiculous.
That's a long, so it's a series of meetings?
Yeah, they're doing interviews.
Oh, okay.
Jeez. So, gotta be careful what you sign up for. Then we got two tomorrow, noon, 2, and 3.
Are you all doing the meeting remotely or in person?
Of course.
Remotely?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is gonna be really weird. I feel sorry for the people. I mean, I know we're all kind of, used to it by now, but still, it's like, God.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it is to do a Zoom because I haven't done any yet.
You haven't?
No. I haven't
Well, we're
yet to do
so
Zoom.
used to it. I never thought I would be. But again, if you don't use it all the time, I'm just not so sure you will be able to remember.
Right. It seems like it's hard to stay engaged.
No, it depends. They say that, but I don't know. I think you tend to drift off anyway you do if you're not interested. But if you talk to one-on-one, these interviews are going to be, it's really easy.
Right.
It's so hard not to be engaged, really.
Well, yeah, you'll be doing interviews, so it's a little different than just sitting
Yeah.
and listening to a whole bunch of folks.
Well, I was listening to this, it's pretty important stuff, so I'm not disengaged.
Right. Plus you got your supplies, so you should be.
I would hope so. Secondly, not this one's your dinner time. I used to teach when I first was teaching, I had these pen classes that would go from 5 to 8. And when I first started doing that, I was doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so I teach here Monday, Tuesday, starting at 8:30. So I go till 8:30, but leave at night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is awful.
What did you had to fit food somewhere in there in that schedule?
Yeah, you just get a snack at 4:30 as you go in, and then eat dinner afterwards. But boy, by the time it's with you, it feels good. So, so when I have something like this, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that time. So,
Yeah, that could be considered a lot of people's wind down, sort of wind down time between dinner and.
yeah, it's kind of changes and important.
I know you're glad that you don't have to do that every week.
Yeah. to send me specs on all these different, materials I could use in them. Got the paint sculpture, I like the seal, the ceramic piece, I have the wax bronzes, I have the cat meat bronzes.
Whoa,
It's a lot of serious stuff.
sounds very work intensive.
I've got to go up on high lifts, they're dangling over this big, it looks like a carousel. They recreated a full-size carousel, and they have these sculptures going around it. And then there's a bird on the top, it's as high as that pump up there. So I've got to get this lift that they carry in, it's on these outriggers, and it goes up and over. It's great.
Sounds like quite the adventure.
Yeah,
Sounds like also you would get great pictures while you're there.
yeah.
Well, you can't say you're bored with this. It's a boring job.
It's not boring, not at all. Not boring at all. Then I have to come back to Philly and start right away on the new pen sculptures.
Oh. Huh.
And
Do you do restoration over there too?
yeah, I've done that for years. I've done all the sculptures at New Penn since 1990. So. Everything, every treatment, every repair, everything's been moving.
So when I'm looking at the Benjamin Franklin over there on the bench, you restored that one?
Oh my God, man. Have to deal with the clean on it and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, because that one's outside.
Oh, they're all outside, but
Oh.
that one's so vulnerable because it's a symbol of the university.
Yeah.
And that frat house that's across from it, that's like right across. So there's a maintenance guy who actually hoses it off every day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah, it's really gross. And so then you're working on it, and you clean it off with these high-grade detergents. So there's no residue or anything left
Right.
before you work on it. I never just work on it because of that. And the boys are always snickering when they go by because they think you're dealing with the tea.
I never thought about that being a factor. That's interesting.
And they don't advertise it because they don't want to encourage it.
Right.
Guess what they do under the button?
What?
Somebody's not supposed to talk about it. That's another rite of passage. So you find all kinds of remnants of that. Yeah, so it's kind of you really get to see everybody's wonderful little children.
It's interesting too, because they probably don't think about the fact that someone is coming to restore this piece. And
No.
someone sculpted, took the time to sculpt and cast.
I know. They also have the kids climb all over that button. That's a $3 million sculpture. So once in a while, just for my own fun, I just start telling the parents how valuable it is. And they say, oh, okay, Cindy, come on, it's time to go. Because all they can think about is something happened, they would be liable.
Right.
Which of course they're not. It's an outdoor piece, and that's part of it.
Yeah, but you put it into perspective as to how much.
Yeah, because they just think it's like a jungle gym or something.
Right. Nobody ever does that on the Rockies station.
No. And that thing is it's a movie prop.
Right.
That's not even a real sculpture.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
That was made by a fabricator that did props for movies.
Huh.
they made it so quickly that the armature was starting to come through the bronze.
Oh, no.
And so a guy that I worked with a lot, a welder, he had to go in and redo the entire armature and fix the bronze. So the thing wouldn't just fall apart.
Yeah, because you figure props are different than,
Yeah, it was meant just to be up there for the movie, and then that was it.
right. Sculpture's supposed to be there for the long haul.
Yep. Yeah. So, I've luckily never had to work on that. I hate that thing.
If you get your way, you probably put it in front of the barns.
Yeah. Well, what we were going to do, there was an argument, you remember this, is when they were bringing it back, they wanted to put it back at the top of the museum.
The Rocky statue? No.
Yeah, because that's where it was during the movie, so they said, we're going to put it up there. And so the art commission came up with a compromise, which ended up being really smart, because no one knew that there'd be such a crowd around it, to have it down in its own space there.
Right.
But we were going to go up there and cut it down. And make it disappear.
Make it. That's funny.
What happened with the Rocky stuff? Oh, when I was restoring the big George Washington, the Zimmerman piece across from the Aikens Oval,
Yeah.
people would come over and they'd be right across from the Rocky thing. They'd say, where's the Rocky sculpture? And they didn't even care about that one. It's an actual sculpture
Right.
done by a real sculptor and a real piece. They could care less. And they didn't even know it was George Washington. They'd say, who's that guy up there?
Because that's American history. That's not American pop
Right.
trivia.
Yeah. Then they'd ask you to use your bathroom. Yeah. You had the whole thing fenced in, you know? They'd say, can you open the gates so I can use the bathroom?
Oh, is there a porta potty set up there?
I had to get one, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's convenient. That means you don't have to run back into the building.
Well, there's any building you can run into, you know? It's far away, so
Right.
it's part of the expense of running those jobs, but had to get a fence up and then people climbing the fence.
No.
Yeah, remember when I was up there on the lift?
Oh.
I'd be talking to him, I'd say, why are you climbing? I'm just gonna have to come down and shoo you away. It's not like I can't see you.
And if you fall, we're not paying for it.
I know. Yes.
It's not like a slip and fall at a supermarket. Where you're hoping to get money
I know.
when you enter yourself.
And when I would open the gate to, bring materials in there or something, I'd have to have one of my assistants stand there and guard it because people would slip in.
Oh, no. Wow. People are sure something else.
Really? Yeah. Just, oh, it's so funny. I was working on the sculpture over here on the apron of City Hall.
Mhm.
The guy and the horse.
Yeah.
Two of them. So I'm working on that, and it's when they used to have a fence that before they did all that restoration on it, they had a fence that went around.
Right.
And so you'd have to get the gate open, and it had bollards that go up and down. And so there was somebody that drove up. I don't know how they got in, but somehow they got in. And they screamed up to me and they said, "How do I get out? I can't get out." And I said, what you have to do is you have to close your eyes and wish really hard.
Oh no! How'd they get in, is the question.
I don't know.
Because it's like however he got in is probably how you would get out, right?
Yeah. It's like, how did that become my fault?
You just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, because you're sort of a captive audience, and then you're up there working, and you can't get away from them.
They could come visit you every day.
Yeah, they do. Aren't you done yet? Looks fine. How much do you pay for that?
Did you apprentice under someone
I
else?
did. I apprenticed under Virginia Naudet, and I apprenticed with her for about 10 years, and then I became her manager of her job sites and work manager, and then I did that for another 10 years, and then took over. Yeah, she's pretty lucky. She's taught me a lot.
Yeah, that.
But then I was a really big help to her because I could run equipment and I could deal with clients and I could manage logisticals and so it was good. We were a good team for that 10 years. She just had her birthday on Saturday.
Oh. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, she's 78 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness.
What a great lady, though. The groups were so sexist. They just couldn't believe that she would be working with me. And they kept saying she was my mother. Hey, your mother would, because they just couldn't figure out that I would work for a woman. And she was this very small, demure woman, and very smart, and they just didn't know her. They would make these stupid comments, and Ginny was always so gracious about it. Never saw her got mad at anybody. She's a really good person. She's taught me a lot about that. Because it's a weird job where you have to work with these facilities people
Right.
and heads of companies or millionaires, and so you have to get along with everybody.
Yeah. Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah,
And then on top of that, do the physical.
yeah, and you have to do the work. That's just getting some of the stuff facilitated. You have to do the freaking work. And it's complicated. And these don't always work out.
Right.
Gotta keep your client from panicking. The San Antonio clients panic all the time. Oh, what is this? I don't know. Is this gonna work? Yeah, it's gonna work. Don't you worry. All right, let me get my, there we go. Here I'm talking again without the volume. Let me do my final round here. And then I'll give you notice this week about when your critique is next week, and we'll meet on Zoom and go through the class in 20-minute intervals. All right, so let's start with Vanessa. So we do one little pose at the end.
Okay.
It'll be like a little half thing. Well, Vanessa's not there. So Claire, are you back? Claire, Earth to Claire. There you go.
Vanessa's there. Vanessa showed up. That was pretty funny. That was like Star Trek. You just kind of came in. Yeah, oh, that's cool. Why did you do that? Oh, that's so great. I love it. I love it. Nice. All right, let's see. You wrap this thing up? Yes, you did. That was good. Yes, you did. Yeah, you definitely did. So the only thing is right at that jowly part, right at the lower part of the jaw, just soften that a little bit and then bring that line of the jaw back towards that ear a little bit. Yeah, and then then you're done. The arm looks good, everything looks good. The neck looks good on the one below it. The only thing I'm going to ask you to do there is bring that belly down. I probably forgot to do that. And then on the one behind, the one lying down. And then make that hand a little bigger, like pull a couple digits out or something. All right, then you're done. Great. That's it. Good. All right, let's see. Tara. Let's see what we got. Oh, nice, Tara. That's your head. She's gonna love it. She's gonna really love it. That's great. So here's the only other thing. I love what you did to soften the face. So now right in here on the eyes, you've got a hard line on either side, right here. So leave one. I would leave the one that's on the right-hand side. And on the left, just soften that a little bit. This line right here on the eye, on the inside of the orbital. All right? And then, any brown in the back, and that's good. Yeah, it looks better. And then maybe you could find a little more of the upper lid of the eye, just a little bit, so it's not so dark. Right, and then you're done. Looks nice. All right, let's see. Yeah, did you get back into the figure lying down? Sure, because the pose wasn't there, yeah. Sure, sure. Well, that's the one nice thing about having the, hey, you know what was interesting looking at an angle like that? And is that it was really, if you can see it that way, the whole background kind of disappeared. And then the blue couch is levitated because the light glare is kind of falling over. But anyway, come on in close again. Let me see the, yeah, that's good. Now you got the eyes in there. You built the arm, good. You built the other side. So the only thing you're going to want to do now is that bridge going from the top of the nose to the forehead. It's a little bit animated. There's a little bit too much of a arc right around that eye socket. So soften that a little bit. And then make some fingers, and then you're done. Yeah, it looks good. This is a good one. I like the way that you have that imaginative to observe, and you change things around. Like you have all the poses in there, but you really change them. So good job. That's done. Something you can really do now. I think that's great. Well, pick up some of that glazed medium. That'll help a lot. And give a lot more flexibility. And that way, if you ever want to go back over it, you can. Because when you have that much oil on, you really can't go back over it. It's just too fat. But
I just think one last semester, as we're doing this project, we're sharing the techniques that really some places.
remember
And go along, so we don't have to
awesome. I don't have that kind of patience. I just don't. I like it that so that if you get that gout, could just be amazing. It'll start to dry up as you're painting it. So it's really great. So and it's super flexible. So yeah, it's and you can even thin it a little bit. It doesn't have to be, because sometimes it's a little like syrup, so you can make it a little less. So cool. I'm glad you're trying these different things. It's part of the point of it, you know? I think that's great. All right, good. I'll see you next week. All right, Holly, see what you're up to. Hey. You went on, then you got lost. There you go. Got it. No.
You're just shut.
Yeah. You know, you should do a video of that walk. Wow, you did that today?
Well, it doesn't, does it look like it's not done? Because it's not.
No, it really doesn't, but that's a lot that you got in, Todd. It looks good. I like it a lot. I love that tree behind there and that window association and then your off-kilter figure. It's really great. You know, I like that, the way you're kind of coming in almost like a dream or alter reality.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when the fact that it didn't quite make sense.
I think that I do like that about that. You know, there's something very, you know, mystic about it. It's not so literal. You know, and then you're very literal with all the other parts.
Yeah, I was thinking about the sky color.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I just always like the color that's there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you have to do that.
No, you really did. Yeah.
I just feel like I would change that.
Why do you make it yellow? Because you got the yellow tree and then you got the yellowish wall. Kind of make it a big harmony.
Or, yeah, like, in that spectrum, like,
Sure.
everything pretty much in similar spectrum, and that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you have a kind of a tonal quality to it back there. Yeah. Yeah, and then just watch your front edge. You don't want to have everything run off. It'd be nice if you were really clear about a chest of drawers or, you know, that bottom of that chair or something really consistent in that.
Yeah.
All right, good, nice. All right, great. We'll see. You guys gonna come out on Wednesday? It's supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard it's supposed to be 88.
88.
That's pretty damn hot.
Yeah, I know, it's nice. Yeah, we'll go up to the cemetery. That'll be nice. That'll be great. All right. I'll live in. Cool. All right. Let's see. Kate. Kate.
Hi.
All right. I love the way you got the thing you just go right to it. Right on the camera. Yeah, that worked out. The hand's nice. It comes through. Let's see. The other hand has a good gesture to it. Finding some feet. Put some marks around. Yeah, the only thing I would say, the model will be staying up for this last one, so you could work a little bit more on that top of the head to the shoulders on that one. And you could do that some by bringing the gray around it. You don't even have to paint that purpley color in it. All right?
Yeah.
And then if you darken the little next to the arms coming down on the figure that's lying down, if you darken it on this part on the back of the arm, on the drapery, that would help sit it. Because right now it's floating, you're not sure where it's going. Well, and that's it. That's it. That's a wrap. Good. All right. So they're going to just do a, what are you going to do, like a 10-minute?
Oh, yeah, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Okay.
Because it's 3:40 now.
Cool. All right, great. All right, let's see. Clay, did you come back? Hello? No. Claire went out to hugging. Maybe Claire's got a meeting too at 4. Oh, there's Amazon. Oh no. Look at perspective, that's great. Oh, that is so much better. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God, that's just, I just can't believe, it's like a whole relief. The whole piece now opened right up. That's awesome. I love the fact that that keyboard and the piano is in brown and the size of that figure is perfect. And then the other one going behind it just makes it all about that mysticism. It's good. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe this.
Yeah. Yeah, like more the face, which is what's replicated in the little machine, and, you know, and then you've got that bigger figure and you're encountering it more. So it's good, really made a big difference. Awesome.
Do you like the color of this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's readable. You know, you understand what it is, and it also has a sense of clarity to the graphic. Like when you're looking at that graphic, it's perceptible. And I think if it was another color, it wouldn't be.
And like, I would say I'm not gonna choose this, that
No,
color,
no.
and
No, but it was a way of just massing it back out.
yeah, like it was just too dark and like,
I know. I think you were really get influenced by your Bonnardi kind of colors, but when you started looking at some of those and seeing the harmonies very nice, that's something you can certainly deal with. You know, make it more pink and purple and blue, you know, and white. That's a lot of color.
yeah.
The pink and ochre is nice too, that combination is nice. You know, that little bit of ochre that's still there, yeah. Yeah, that's good work for you.
Yeah, this is just still not really good.
Yeah. But I think you want to take that clear out of the reads. Yeah, why don't you keep working around it, see if you can leave that, and the rest, you know, build up around it.
And the tree.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe just need to bring that up bigger, you know, and then make those horns
Bring it what?
bigger, you know,
Yeah.
branches.
But like, the color of green
Well, it varies, you know, the nice thing about leaves is they hit the light at different parts. So sometimes they're really pale, sometimes they're dark, they can be curled, and then they've got that feeder stem. So if you can kind of split them a little bit. So it can vary in color and place. Yeah, because like I said, it looks very Matisse, which I don't think we
now
need.
maybe more yellow.
Yeah, yellow, maybe more like blobs, less like, you know, just sort of leaves.
Right. Yeah. I'm enjoying like working this space, doing the details, and kind of like feels overwhelming.
Yeah,
So it was like when I was just drawing on this.
I know, it frees you up, doesn't it? Yeah.
Maybe do some more class.
Well, what about if you get on like an oil stick or something? You can draw with that. Have you used those?
I have these pastels, but like I just like stuff like 3 or 4 pastels. That's
Yeah, just goes away so quickly. Yeah. It might be a little bit better. Yeah, because those pastels don't have enough pink in there, so you just keep working it. So, but maybe just drawing it too. You're certainly using multimedia. If you stick to the acrylic, you could really use anything in there, and it would be compatible. Because acrylic becomes like a binder. So that might be an advantage, and you might think about that. I mean, you can embed stuff in it, you can draw on it, you can do it, and it'll all be together. And then if you just spray an acrylic varnish on at the end, that would just seal it all. Yeah, yeah. So that, and then you can make some of that coming through, and then you can also add colors to the gesso too. Yeah. Yeah, perfectly fine, but there is something about that when you're drawing on it. You can also use charcoal too, especially if it's a little bit wet. So the charcoal can bind in with it, you know? Like if you use like a compressed charcoal. Yeah, and you can put a little solvent on it, like put some of your brush in it, and then that would eat it up a little bit more and would make more of a discernible mark. No, you only solve it. Yeah. I call it solid, but it's really, turpentine mineral spirits. Oh, the other thing you could do is, have you ever used that wax medium, like Doyle's wax medium? It's microcrystalline wax that has varnish in it, and so it hardens. But if you can actually use that with anything, and then charcoal too, and then that would be the binder. And then you can build it up, make texture like you're making on some of those other paintings. Yeah. Well, it's just, instead of beeswax, it's made from petroleum, but it's still wax. And it's stronger and harder. And it softens with mineral spirits of heat. So it's kind of flexibility. It's called wax medium, and it's made by Dorland's. They have it at Blake. But that'd be a way of kind of working with those drawing materials and have them be a little more permanent. See how that darkens more and you can get more off of it? Yeah. I need to soak it a little bit more. Oh, what hardness is that? Is that like a hard or it's medium or soft? Because if it's brittle or hard, there's not going to be a lot of softening. Yeah, that's why we're having trouble. So if you just leave it in the solvent for a little bit, then it'll soften. You're learning chemistry now. Because a lot of the binder to the chocolate is wax. And so no, you can't. It's separate. Right. It would.
That's time.
All right, thank you, Medusa. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that's it, gang. I gotta roll off. I got a meeting at 4, so 4 to 8 today. How fun is that? That's gonna be a blast. Bet you Anna wants to come there. And Anna will come over. No, not yet. We're gonna be doing that later this week. So lots of stuff in a row, lots of stuff. And then we'll look over them on Friday. So that'll be quite fun. We're looking forward to it. Okay. All right. See you guys. Bye. I know I gotta tear down this.
The set.
Yeah. Or to believe. Tear down the set. I know that's the one thing is that we're not going to be used to sharing the space.
Yeah, and also having your prompts disappear.
I know, I have to fold them up again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be so tedious.
Or are people taking them from your space?
Oh,
That's I remember seeing Al write notes
God. Yeah,
every week.
desperate notes. No one ever paid attention to it. Please leave. No one could. Not one person left them. I know. But we were talking about that maybe we'd assign rooms to people. That might work.
Right.